Yeah, we had I think a really positive homestand kind of group. Western Kentucky, Marshall, and yesterday's game all together. To me, it's kind of a week in my mind. And, I think it's probably the best week that we've had all season long. Western Kentucky and Marshall, we really had an opportunity to get our offense going at a very high level. Our pace was better, our timing was better, our screening, all the little things that we've been talking about to improve on the offensive end. We saw come into fruition in those two games, and I was really proud of our players. Yesterday was a little bit tougher, and again, a lot of that has to do with being your third game in 5 days. I didn't think we had quite the legs under us, but I still thought we had the looks, and and that's what's important, to know that we're executing at the level that we need to on the offensive end to get the looks. And then, we get a day off, we get another day prep, hopefully down, in Miami on Thursday, we're able to knock down a few more of those shots to give us a little bit more of a cushion. Our defense has continued to be phenomenal. Our players have really taken a ton of pride in our ability to get stops. That defense is anchored by Kiki McKinney, the best defender in this league. She had 6 blocks yesterday against FIU, and that's like another day of work for her. Like, it's not even like a wow factor anymore. It's just what she does. But, the rest of our roster has been just really bought into the defensive end, and I think that's where a lot of our confidence comes. So if we can continue to execute defensively at the level that we are, keep improving on the offensive end, we can still get a lot better to finish the season, and I think that's what we're most excited about.
Coach, can you just talk a little bit about Octavia? She won Player of the Week this past week, and just what has her presence on this team, after announcing she's using her extra year of eligibility, what has her presence just done for the team morale as a whole and just getting them pumped up every day in practice and for games?
Yeah, I think the neat thing about Octavia is, obviously she's a really great player, great scorer, great defender. But, her personality on this team, she's very well liked, very well loved by her teammates. And I think that is as important as anything else that she does in terms of putting the ball in the hoop. This team loves her. They root for her. They want her to play well. There's no jealousy or concern about the number of shots she gets or anything of that nature. And I think a lot of that has to do with just the love and respect that she has from her teammates. They also know how good she is, and they want to help her succeed. And so I think that's what's probably pretty special about watching this season, just from the coach's vantage point, how hard everybody roots for each other. I think that her presence and, the way that she's respected and cared for and loved on this team really can go a long way, because when things are hard, she has a voice in that, and people listen to her and they respect her. And that's really important too.
Gary, you kind of touched on it yesterday. Your team maybe didn't have a lot of juice, a lot of energy. Third game in 5 days. It felt like, in watching it, it looked like a rock fight out there at times.
I saw your tweet.
But the fact that you guys were able to pull away at the end, win that game, and get 3 straight. What kind of a message do you kind of send to your team, and what maybe feeling do they get out of that? I mean, I know it's just a win. I know it's one more just added into the column, but to win when you aren't at your best, maybe physically, mentally, whatever, what does that do for a team going forward when you've got 3 of your next 4 on the road?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important. This week kind of brought us all of it. We were at our best against Western Kentucky in a lot of the Marshall game. Yesterday, we weren't at our best. And to know that we can win regardless of those circumstances is really huge, I think, to a team's confidence. And that's what I told them after the game. Like, yes, this wasn't our best performance, but it was still enough to win by double figures against somebody in the league. And we need to look at the positive with that. We'll play them again on Thursday, so there's little things that we can correct to be better. But again, I thought a lot of the stuff, yesterday was just lack of having some legs. We'll have our legs back on Thursday. But, like you said, just having that confidence to know, regardless of the situation, regardless of the game, regardless of the flow, we have the ability to win games, and that goes a long way.
Coach, Kiki McKinney, 6 blocks, not even a season high for her. She had 8. And you've had other shot blockers before. Nyla Jamison Myers comes to mind just a couple of years ago. How much is that a premeditated identity you try to build around a foundation of protecting the rim, because you've had a couple of players that have been sensational at it the last 5 years or so?
Yeah, that's a great question. I have Jamison Myers comes to mind. Even my second year, Jennifer Haley was outstanding. We've been really lucky to have some great players back there. And, we knew when we brought Kiki here that she was a really good defender. But I think she's taken it to a whole nother level. When we looked at her, we were thinking more about her defense in terms of, defending a ball screen or being able to switch on to guards and just how mobile she is. But, her ability to defend the rim has been, top notch. I haven't, and I said this, I tweeted this, she's the best defender I've ever coached. And Nye was really, really good. And Jen was really, really good. And it doesn't take anything away from those two. But Kiki's her timing is just incredible. I'm not sure I've definitely haven't coached, and I haven't seen a lot of players that have the type of timing that she does on the defensive end. It's pretty remarkable. And certainly, when I'm a coach where defense matters, right? And, I want our team to be disciplined defensively, keep people in front of us, make them take tough shots. When you have an anchor like Kiki, most shots are pretty tough.
Coach, I brought up the schedule last week, how tough you guys schedule every year, non-conference at the beginning of the season. You look at the strength of the schedule compared to other teams in the conference, you guys are in the 50s. Everybody else, there are teams that aren't even in 200 spots from you. It's great competition-wise. Obviously, when you have the 8 losses in that column overall, it hurts the net. It hurts the way people think about a deserved at-large bid to get in the NCAA tournament. How much does that affect your mindset when you go into another year of scheduling? Is there some kind of back and forth you go through when trying to figure out how you do win a schedule at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know me, you followed me long enough that I do like to schedule difficult games because I think it helps build you, it builds your character. This team is a great example of that. We went through some really tough stuff in non-conference, and it has paid off in terms of helping our team grow, our team to be able to get to a place where they know they can do hard things. With that being said, was our schedule a little too tough? Yeah, probably, because it will hurt us, with an at-large bid. And some of that was out of my control. I had to combine kind of 2 schedules in a year. I lost a bunch of games when we had to totally redo our schedule a year ago because of COVID. So there were games that we owed. There were games that we owed from last year. I had to ask Clemson. We were supposed to play Clemson this year, and I said, "Can we please not? Because I don't have any more room on my schedule. It's just already too difficult. I can't have another Power 5." So, unfortunately, some of that was out of my control. But at the same time, I do think there is a balance of challenging your team, but not putting them in a position where some losses will hurt an at-large bid, and that might be the case this year.
Coach, I know we talked a few weeks ago just about, giving players rest coming down the stretch of the season in a busy month, but can you talk about Deja Lawrence's performance and just her presence on the floor, coming off the bench, and being able to give, whether it be Michaela, Tay, or J-Mac a break?
Yeah, I've been really pleased with Deja over the last, several weeks. I said this, I think, one of my post games. I think it's easy for, fans and media and folks to look at her production, over the last few games, but Deja has been rapidly improving over probably the last month, and I've watched it in practice. Every time we're in practice, I'm evaluating our bench. Who is improving, who, maybe isn't, who can help us where. And it's not a surprise to me that Deja is playing well because I've seen it in practice, and it was kind of coming. And, she earned the opportunity to get more minutes, and now she's also earning more minutes with her production out of that play. I think a lot of people don't remember or don't think about the fact that Deja is in her 3rd year here in the program, but she hasn't had much experience. She redshirted she played a little bit, redshirted as a freshman medically. Last year she was an opt-out with COVID, so you're almost starting back at zero, and it took her practice time and reps and, to get to the point where she is, but it's a credit to her work ethic, a credit to her, just persevering to put herself in a position. And we're a much better team this week because of, what we're getting from Deja Lawrence.
Coach, with your team playing well enough to win a few games in a row here and your overall record, Conference USA record, how would you compare this team to how good you guys are compared to other best teams that you've had here at Charlotte?
Yeah, I mean, my team, my second year was really good. We had one loss in the A10 that year and finished second. And Dayton won the league, and we, for some scheduling snafu, we didn't get to play each other. And then we got upset in the conference tournament that year. But that team, we were on the bubble. I think we were the last 4 out of the NCAA tournament that year. And that's kind of been the team that, we've measured ourselves against since we've been here. But I would say this team is very close. We're definitely a better defensive team than that team was. I would say that we're the best defensive team that I've coached, and I knew we had the potential to do that. And we'll see how it goes. I mean, if we continue to keep improving, we continue to win games, we can go deep into the tournament. Maybe this will be the best team that I coached at Charlotte.
Kara, with the fact that now you can kind of exhale after 3 games in 5 days, and now you have only 2 this week and only 2 next week, is this an opportunity for you to kind of start, and I know it's tougher with three of those 4 on the road, but do you start maybe planning and thinking about Texas in terms of, because you're going to be a high seed, and if not the number 1 at the Conference USA tournament, so how do you start gearing up your team for that? Because you kind of just hinted that an at-large bid may be, the only way in may be winning the league tournament.
Yeah, I think that's a hard thing to think about. We have a lot of work to do. These 4 games are going to be crucial. And if you start worrying about something that's 2 weeks away, or not even worrying, but you start thinking about and preparing for something that's 2 weeks away, I just don't think that's the right message. Our players need to understand how important every game is. And we've talked about this in these press conferences. It's not like we've blown people out all year. I mean, we've been in some real dogfights. Now, we're playing better than we played earlier in the year when we were in so many of those close games. There's no doubt about that. But the margin for error in this conference is very, very slim. And so, the only thing that matters to us today is FIU. And that's going to be a dogfight. Obviously playing a team back-to-back is very difficult. They had opportunities yesterday to really close the gap on us, and we have to play better. And so, that's my mindset. 1 day at a time. Making sure we win the next game, and when we get to Texas, we'll worry about that.
Coach, I've got one for you along the same lines. Talk about controlling your own destiny. If we take care of what we're supposed to take care of, everything works out. We don't have to rely on anybody else. It's all in our hands.
Yeah, I think something I tell our team a lot is, we're in this position for a reason. We've earned it, but you don't get to win. We don't get to win Thursday because we won Monday. And I think our team has really done a great job being mature about that and understanding that, every single, win we've had to work our tails off to get there. And that is a good thing. You want to be in that position to know that you can kind of, control your own destiny. But we also know that it could change like that. So just continuing to stay focused and worrying about one game at a time, I think is the most important thing right now.